Ah, ah. What is up, everybody? In this video, what is up, everybody? Toothless here, and in this video, we're going to be going over who I feel like is the 5 most overrated champions in Raid Shadow Legends, of which that I actually have and have time to test. Starting off the list, we're going to go with Nell Blackteeth. A lot of people say that she just pretty much cancels the arena with her poison going in place above. She can counter Siffy teams, stuff like that. And going through her kit, on paper, she reads really good. She has an A1 that steals 10% of the target's turn meter, steals an additional 5% for each debuff on the enemy. Also has a 75% chance of putting a True Fear for 1 turn. The A2 steals all buffs from all enemies, decreases each target's turn meter by 10%, decreases each target's turn meter by an additional 5% per debuff on them, instantly activates of all poison debuffs on all enemies, and then puts a sleep for 1 turn on all enemies without poison. For A3, attacks all enemies, puts a big version of decreased defense, and a weaken on all enemies for 2 turns, fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. Her aura, and this is, I guess, where most of the love she gets comes from. Whenever an enemy receives a buff, is healed, or has their turn meter increased, puts a 5% poison debuff on that enemy for 2 turns, will ignore block debuffs, increases the champion's turn meter by 5% per poison debuff placed by the skill. And here is where it kind of throws me off. That first form, you think, okay, she's like Lydia and Calvalax mixed together, and you would just build her to stay alive because she does have to be alive for the poisons to go on. But you go into her second form and she wants to be a damage dealer. She does have a really good A1 on the second form. Attacks one enemy 4 times. Each hit ignores 30% of the target's defense. Each hit will also decrease the target's max HP by a quarter of the damage inflicted. If the target's not a boss, also puts a shield buff on this champion equal to a quarter of the target's max HP. It can be a really good A1, and it does give her a little bit of survivability, which is much needed, because her HP is only 17k and her defense is only 1,156. So, she's a very squishy champion. Keep in mind, this is a mythical. Her A2 attacks on enemy, deals double damage if they're under any type of CC, and if the target is killed, it instantly activates Feast of Terror, which is her A3, attacks all enemies, places a True Fear debuff for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked with enemies less than half HP. And that does count for her A2, like for dealing double damage. So you could open up with the A3 and then go into the A2, kill somebody, and then it theoretically should unlock the A3 again. But the A2 just doesn't hit that hard, even with the double damage. I only see like 50, 60k on the attack, and considering how many champions in this game can hit over 100k, or like with the new Garo buff, she hits like half a mil per head on an AoE. Even her A1 hits well over 100k and ignores block damage. This skill doesn't ignore anything, and it doesn't deal, like, it doesn't ignore defense, it doesn't ignore block damage, unkillable, nothing. And then her passive on this skill, whenever this champion kills an enemy using any skill, so the A2 or A3, grants the champion an extra turn, and each debuff placed by this champion in either form increases the champion's HP, attack, and defense by 2%, stacks up to 50%, speed stacks up by 2 up to 50 in their alternate form. But it's only in their alternate form, and if you're going to run her, you're probably going to run her in her first form, which just basically makes her second form useless outside of Fire Knot because the quadruple hit on the A1. But True Fear is definitely not the meta. It's RNG. It's 50-50 chance on if you're going to get a hit or not. The 100 accuracy in all battles, with speed being the meta, even on a go second team, you're going to do a defense or an HP or probably HP, so your stone skin will stack up higher. Or defense if you're running a bunch of shield heavy team champions. But nothing in her kit gives her any survivability, and her base stats makes her super squishy. Also, something I don't like about the passive is it's on a 2-turn cooldown, so she can't really go on a kill streak even if she gets up and going. Now back to her first form, something I would like to make note of. Her A3 is essentially Lydia without the buffs, but she gets a turn meter fill. So she does have use case, but her use case is a slight upgrade or downgrade depending on how you look at it, on how much value you put on the buffs, to a champion that's already a free farmable. And she does have a